Hello everybody. Now today I will talk about the square. This is so important for the SAT math geometry. So we know that the square will be like this. This is the basic figure about the square, and we will learn about perimeter. Again, perimeter of the square is about 4a, and a is about the side of the square. And the next one we have studied about the area. Area of the square is about a power 2. And the next one, to find this one, diagonal. To find the diagonal of the square, you just have you just care about that. This is the right triangle, and this is about the special right triangle. And diagonal of the square is about a multiplied with the square root of number 2. Why I got this number? Because we will use about Pythagorean. So we will have diagonal in here will be the square root of a power 2 plus a power 2, and a is about the side in here. We have 2 sides, that's why we have a power 2 times plus together, and then we go about 2a power 2, because a power 2 plus a power 2 is about 2a power 2. And in here we can separate them in about square root of 2 multiplied with the a power 2. And then after that, you go about a multiplied with square root of 2. This is the reason why we have this the square root of 2 in here. This formula is so important for you to do SAT math. So I use about the real SAT math. But this is the basic one to do about the square. If the square A equal 4, find the perimeter, area, and diagonal of the square. You can notice B is about 4A, and A is about 4. So we multiply together, and you go about 16. And find the area of the square in here. It's about a power 2, and you go about 4 power 2 in here, and you go about 16. And diagonal is about the a multiplied with the square root of 2, and you go about 4 square root of 2. So this is about the basic one for you in SAT geometry math. And you need to learn about the formula in here. The next one we talk about the circle. This is can be appear many times on the test. So on about the circle, we will learn about the radius, diameter, circumference, square, and about the pi. And I will talk about this thing for you. First, we need to know that in the circle we have the center of the circle. That's the point in here. That's about the center of the circle. We have the radius is about r. We call them that's about r. The next one that's about diameter. Diameter is mean about 2r. It means we need radius in here. We multiply with 2, and you go about the diameter of the circle, and we can write this one d equal to 2r. This is the basic one to calculate about the diameter. The next one that's about circumference. Circumference just like the perimeter of the circle. Circumference we will have the formula is about c equal to 2r pi r d pi, because 2r equal to d. That's why we have 2 multiply with r multiply with pi, or d multiply with the pi, and the pi we use about 3.14. This is about the basic for you. And the next one we learn about the area of the circle. Area of the circle is about r power 2 multiplied with pi. This is about the formula to find the area. So that in the basic one you need to understand about diameter, radius, circumference, and area. This is will appear in time on the SAT math. So the next question, find the area and the circumference of the circle with d equals 6. D is about diameter of the circle. So when we find d equal to 2r, okay, to find the radius, we need to have d divided by 2 equal to r. So d in here is about 6 divided by 2 equal to 3 equal to r. So this is the first step. The step number 2, we need to find the circumference. We have d multiplied with pi. D we have 6, pi is a 6 pi, and in the pi we have 6 multiplied with 3.14, and then in here you got about 18.84. This is the first. Then the next one, to find the area of the circle. Area of circle is about r power 2 multiplied with pi, and in here we have r is about 3. So go about 3 power 2 multiplied with pi is about 9 pi, and 9 multiplied with 3.14. So you go about 28 and 1/4 plus 28.26. Yeah, this is why we need to do about step by step to find the solution in here. And this is the basic for you to understand about the circumference and area. The next one we will talk about the portion of the circle. For example, if the question they ask about the portion of the circle is about 5 pi over 4, something like this. So the question they ask, what's the area of this proportion in here only? Or maybe the question they ask, what's the circumference in this area only? So that to do this question like this, I will show you about the formula. There are two formula. If they use about radius, and this one if they use about the degree. So there are two type of formula you need to remember. So in the radius we have two things. That's about c and area. And in the circumference we have 2r multiplied with pi in here. So that's about the radius. And in this one we will multiply in we multiply with the fraction. We multiply with the fraction in here, so we have the portion is about the given number from the question divide to the 2 pi. For example, if they ask about the circumference, and we just do about 5 pi over 4 divide to 2 pi multiply with the 2r pi. So in here 5 over 2 divided by 2, and we have pi and pi in here. We can simplify in the fraction, and you got about 5 over 8 multiply with 2r pi. This is the basic one in about find the portion. And similar to the area, we have the portion divided by 2 pi multiply with r power 2 pi. So the portion in here is about 5 pi over 5 pi over 4 divided by 2 pi multiply with r power 2 and pi. 5 pi over 4 divided by 2 pi is about 5 over 8. And we know that in the whole circle, that's about 2 pi. You should remember that the whole circle is about 2 pi. And we just multiply with r power 2 pi. And that's the final answer. You just input about the r from the radius, and you can get the solution. If the question they ask the degree, for example, the change is about 100 degree, for example, like this, so that we have C and A again. Now we have the portion, but now we do about 360 degree 2r pi. The portion in here about 100 degree divided by 360 multiply with 2r pi. And in the area we have the portion divided by 360 multiply with r power 2 pi, similar to the C2. So that if the question they ask about the radius, we will have the 2 pi in here. If the question they have the degree, just like 100 degree, 45 degree, 200 degree, something like this, you will have the whole circle is about 360 degrees, and then you input the portion in here from the given question, and you can answer about very simple to find the circumference and area of the circle. Hello everybody, so I just do about the real SAT math on the practice. If the arc AOB is 7 pi over A of the circle, what is the fraction of the AOB to over the whole circle? So they ask about the fraction. This means we have the fraction in here equal to about the portion divided to the whole circle. So the portion is about 7 pi over 8. Then we divide by 2 pi. So we have the pi and the pi in here, so we can simplify in here. That's about pi and pi. So you got about 7 over 8 divided by 2. 7a divided by 2 is about 7 over 8 multiplied 1 over 2. So that you got about 7 over 16. So this is the answer for the question in the practice test, 7 over 16. The next one, we will talk about the circle. Right now we talk about equation of the circle. So we have s minus a power 2 plus y minus b power 2 equal to r power 2. So in here, on the SAT math, you will learn to find the center of the circle and use the radius. Center of the circle is to be A and B with the next to minus sign in here. So we have A and B from this thing. So about the radius, we have the R. So that's about R in here. If the question they have the equation, and we can see the final on the right is about 25, something like this. This one is about the radius, but they have the square. 25 is about the r power 2. So if you want to find the r, you just the square root about 25 and you go to 5, and this is about the r. This is so important for the SAT math because they provide the equation and then they ask you what is the area or the circumference of the circle, so that you just concentrate on the number on the right in here, and you just put them in the formula and of the area and the circumference, and you can find the answer. So I just you about the real SAT math to explain how to find the center of the circle and the area of the circle. So the first one, the center of the circle. We know that center should have S and Y in here. So we have S and Y, S in here, Y in here. And the center of the circle is about number 4 and number 7. So you just move 4 and 7 is the center of the circle. If the in the y is about positive number, so that this should be about -7. Be careful about that. If they change the sign, for example, this is not about the negative, this is about the positive number. If they have the positive number in the center, they will change to the negative number. If this is a negative number, the center will change to the positive number. That's why we need to be careful about positive and negative. Now we need to find the R, because the question they ask about the area of the circle. R is about in here. This number is about R power 2. To get the R in here, you need to do the square root 81 of this number, and you go about 9. And this is the first step. The next step is about the area of the circle. It's about R power 2 and pi. R power 2 is about 9 power 2 pi. It's about 81 pi. Why do I need to do the R? But we have the R power 2 in here because sometimes on the test they ask about circumference. That's why we need to learn to find the R first. Don't concentrate about the R power 2, because if you just concentrate 81, you just input in the circumference. That's wrong and you get the wrong answer. That's why we need to learn to find the R without the power 2. This is a good way for you to remember and practice for all the questions related not about area, but maybe that's they ask about the circumference, or maybe they ask about find the diameter too. If just concentrate about R about 2 many times. Hello everybody, in the volume you just concentrate about 6 objects in here, because many SAT math they will have provide the volume at the beginning. On the first page you have the formula of the volume of the each subject, and you need to learn how to find the volume. In the SAT math they will provide you the figure and they ask you to find the volume for example, they ask the volume about the tank, or maybe they ask about the volume of the corn, or maybe they ask the volume of the building. So that you need to learn different kind of the volume in here. And on the SAT math, they just concentrate only 6 only. First, this is about rectangular object. To find the volume of the rectangular object, you need to have the length multiplied with width and multiplied with the height, so that we have L, W, and H. This is the basic one for you. The next one, this is about the cubic. To find the cubic object, we have the A power 3. This is about the volume of the cubic. The next one, this is about the cone. To find the volume of the cone, we have 1/3 multiplied with R power 2 pi and the H. H is about the height of the cone in here. That's why we have 1/3 multiplied with R power 2. R power 2 pi is about the area of the base in here. And we have the H is the height of the cone. That's why we have this formula. The next one is about cylinder. This is so important to find about the volume of the tank. So the volume in here is about R power 2 pi and H. That is about the formula of the cylinder. And in this object, we have R power 2 multiplied with pi is about the square of the base. Let's see the square of the base in here, and then we multiply with the height in here. So that's the volume of the cylinder. The next one about pyramid. Pyramid, we will have the formula is 1/3. We multiply with the length, width, and the height. But this formula is similar with the volume of the rectangular object, but we have 1/3 in here. This is the formula we need to learn. The last formula, let's see about the square. The volume of the square is about 4/3 R power 3 pi. So this is so important to calculate about the volume of the arch, or maybe the volume of the bones. So that you need to learn about the volume of the sphere in here, because it's so important for you to calculate the volume. And here this is 6 objects you need to learn.